What does it mean to be more grounded? See, this is a saying, but what does it actually mean? And this is something I struggled with for such a long time. I felt this disconnect from my body, that I didn't feel grounded. In fact, I lost all sense of my being. I couldn't connect to it. The present moment was not a thing. It was just this cloud of thought patterns in my mind that continued on and ruminated for such a long time. And in that time, I got sick, very sick. I ended up with chronic fatigue because all my energy was being burned out. And I still manage this illness day to day. But the thing is that I had to work with my mind, body, and spirit to heal in some form that could allow me to live a fulfilled existence. So to do that, I entered a mindset program that absolutely reframed everything that I needed to in order to make the changes that I had to in my life. So the first thing was that I had to actually identify what these thought patterns were. So I had this thought pattern that was coming up that I am struggling, and it kept coming up for me all the time. And I say keeps because I am still working on that thought pattern. But the thing is that when we have thoughts like that, we have to challenge them. We have to get to the root of where they've come from, because what happens is in our mind, we get signals from the body. And so an event occurs, we're challenged, and we create a story around what happened in that challenge. So for my story was that I am struggling because the workload that I had, I couldn't keep up with anymore because of the illness that was forming, because I was burning out. I was burned out from my previous job. And the thing is that when I began to work with my mindset, things became easier, a lot easier. So the second part of after you've identified those thought patterns is that you have to actually reframe them. So it's called cognitive reframing. And what you're doing is you're consciously reframing the thought patterns that you have. So for I am struggling, it has now come to how else can I look at this? Who can I ask for support? Or what do I need to do at a smaller level to achieve this goal? And so then the third part of it is that you have to anchor these states. So it's mindfully anchoring these states, because it is a loop. So what you feed your mind, it comes back up with. So when you are able to create a break in that loop and send it off into a different direction, that thought pattern is going to be your new state. It's the new neural pathway that it travels down. So now when that comes up for me, I've anchored it so much, it doesn't really surface to the top anymore. I have some residual thoughts about it, but that's because it tries a different angle, because there's different events tied to that cluster within my mindset of the struggle that I experienced when I was dealing with illness. And that's a big thing to deal with. I understand the horrible complications of what that brings up when you're burned out so badly. So the thing is that if you can identify what thoughts are not helping you, reframe them, and then anchor them in a new way of being, what happens is it becomes subconscious. And when it's subconscious, all of a sudden your autopilot is looping back to you the things that are going to support you on your journey rather than not support you. And why I relate this back to grounding is because when you are grounded, you have clarity. So those are the techniques that have helped me to feel grounded.